Hi everyone, thank you for joining us. My name is Anthony Peter, founder of ATEX Software and an AI architect. ATEX Software has deep experience across software development, consulting, AI, training, and real-world AI implementation. I have worked on cutting-edge AI solution implementations, trained professionals on emerging technologies, and then effectively using AI tools strategically. Let me introduce our guest. We are joined by Sheila Kishan, who is a partner at ApexDigitalAI Consulting and has extensive experience in the networking and cybersecurity industry. She has multiple Cisco networking certifications, had presented at many conferences, and is a passionate learner and mentor. Sheila is currently working on a course focused on presentation skills, bringing real-world experience, tips, and tricks. All right, so IT background, deep technical expertise, and now you're building a course on how to present. That's a bit of an unexpected pivot. What happened?
Right. I get that a lot. Look, it wasn't like I woke up one day and thought, okay, I want to teach people how to make slides. Um, it came from watching really smart people get ignored, not because their ideas were bad, but because they couldn't get those ideas across. There was this ex colleague of mine, genuinely brilliant. He pitched a solution to the to customers executive team. It was one of the best technical solutions that I had seen, but the people in the room didn't get it. It was too complex and too technical for that audience. And ultimately, the client went a different direction. That one still bugs me. And that's kind of where this whole thing started.
So, when you say presentation skills, what are we actually talking about? Because I feel like people hear that and immediately picture someone, clicker in hand, standing next to a slide deck.
Yeah, that image does a lot of damage, honestly. Slides are just a tiny piece of it, right? Like what I'm really talking about is can you take something complicated um, and make another person actually understand it? Like, can you read your audience and, adjust it on the fly? Can you tell a story that makes people actually care? That applies whether you're in a boardroom or a Teams meeting or like a job interview or even just explaining something to your team in chat, right? It's essentially just a human communication, but structured, intentional communication.
Got it. Your course isn't just for IT students, it's for everyone, right? Business, arts, engineering, the lot. Why make it that broad?
Because the problem doesn't care what your major is. Like I've met literature students who write beautifully, but go completely blank when they're in front of a room. I've met IT students who can build incredible things, but like they can't explain what those things actually do to anyone outside of their team. Neither one of them was ever properly taught how to present, right? It just kind of falls through the cracks in most degree programs. So yeah, I wanted to build something that works for all of them because honestly, the fundamentals are the same no matter what field you're in.
Okay, let's talk about remote work because that's the world a lot of these students are walking into. Does that change things?
Yeah, I think it changes everything and honestly makes the skills even more critical. Like, think about what you lose in a remote setting, right? Like, there's no body language, there's no energy in the room. You can't see if people are confused or excited or like completely checked out. Like, half your audience might be on mute, multitasking, or watching with one eye. You got maybe like 90 seconds before someone starts checking their email or like, scrolling through their phone. So you have to like kind of work that much harder to be clear, get your point across, to be engaging, to structure things in a way that doesn't let people drift. And I think like in person, you can at least recover to an extent, but remote, once you lose the room, it's really hard to get it back.
That's a bit grim. I mean, like, so what does a good remote presentation actually look like? What are people getting wrong?
The biggest mistake I see, and it's like everywhere, is just people, transplanting what they do in a in a room onto a conference call, like the same slides, same pacing, same structure. It just doesn't work. Like on a screen, you're literally like a tiny rectangle, right? Like your energy has to come through that tiny rectangle. Your camera position, your lighting, how you pace your delivery, how often you check in with the audience, all of that matters way more than people realize.
Okay, let's tackle the classic objection. I'm going into a technical role. My work will speak for itself. You must have heard that a lot.
All the time. And again, look, I get it, right? Like when you're deep in technical stuff, it can feel like, hey, my work should be obvious. But here's the thing, like your work literally cannot speak. Like you speak for it, right? Like especially in remote environments. Where visibility is already limited. Like if you're in office, at least like people see you working and you can have conversations. But remote, nobody knows what you're doing unless you communicate it. Like the best engineers or employees who get promoted, who get heard, who shape direction. They're not necessarily the most technically gifted. They're the ones who can clearly explain what they've built, why it matters, and what should happen next. And that's not just a soft skill. That's leverage.
Is this stuff you can actually teach, though? Like some people just seem to be naturals at it.
I think the natural thing is a myth.
Hmm.
Look, people you think are naturally good presenters, right? Like they're not they're not just born that way. They usually practice more and often in context like you never saw. It's exactly like coding or like playing a sport. Nobody says, oh, you were born to debug this code, right? But somehow public speaking gets like this mystical reputation. Like everything I teach is learnable. How to structure an argument, like how to design a visual that actually engages people rather than it distracts, like how to manage your nerves, how to adjust when the audience isn't with you, right? These are techniques, like repeatable, practicable techniques. And once you have them, they stick.
That's a great insight. All right, someone's on the fence about the course, busy with assignments, maybe thinks it's not really their thing. Like, what do you tell them?
Um, Honestly, I'd say think about the next, 10, 20 years of your career, right? Like you will use your presentation skills every single week, if not every single day, in meetings, in job interviews, even in one on ones with your manager. And like, look, I'm not saying the technical stuff doesn't matter. It absolutely does. It's your foundation. But communication is like the multiplier on top of everything, Um, and in a remote world where nobody can see you in the hallway or where visibility is everything, being clearly able to articulate and clearly communicate your ideas isn't optional anymore. It's the difference between being good at your job and being recognized for it.
This has been a really fun conversation. Before I let you go, what's the course actually called and where can people find it?
It's just called presentation fundamentals, like deliberately straightforward because that's what it is, right? There's no fluff, there's no gimmicks, just the foundational stuff that actually works. And if you work in any field where you have to communicate with other humans, this course is for you. Details will be up soon, so watch this space.
Awesome. Last thing, is there anything we didn't cover today that you really wish we had? Something you're dying to get off your chest about presentations?
Um, yeah, actually, the fear side of it, right? Like we talked a lot about like technique, the presentations and the cameras and all that, but I didn't really get into the emotional part. For many people, who avoid presenting, not because they don't know the content, but because they're scared, right? Like, and that fear is like real and valid. Like I'm not dismissing it. Honestly, like when I started, I used to be so scared and nervous, like my hands would be shaking. Uh, but the antidote isn't confidence, weirdly. It's actually preparation and repetition. Like, if I had one message for someone who's terrified of presenting, you don't have to feel ready. You just have to start somewhere. And every time you do it, it gets a little less scary.
That's a great note to end on. Honestly, thank you. This has been genuinely useful, and I think a lot of people are going to get a lot out of this course. And thank you to everyone watching.